All right, geometry crew, we are moving on to section 3.2, and this section is called Properties of Parallel Lines. So, what this says is, and there's different theorems, but remember that we had this diagram where T was our transversal, and then we had L and M, and we had them, matched up with different angles. So we labeled all the angles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And today we're learning, well, what happens if these two lines are parallel? And these little markers where you have arrows, that means that the two lines are parallel. Now, the first postulate or theorem says that if a transversal intersects, all right, so here's my transversal, intersects two parallel lines, then same side interior angles are supplementary. So remember, our same side interior angles were 3 and 5. So the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 5 must be equal to 180 degrees. And we also have another pair, the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 6 will also be equal to 180 degrees. All right, that is your same side interior angle postulate. Now, this is only true, once again, if these two lines are parallel. Okay? Now, let's move on to the next postulate. The next one is alternate interior angles. And what this says is, if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. So in this example, our alternate interior angles would be angle 3, that is congruent to angle 6. All right, 3 and 6. Also, angle 4 would be congruent to angle 5. All right, those are also alternate interior angles. Now, we have alternate exterior angle theorem. And that also says if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then my alternate exterior angles are congruent. So in this case, angle 1 would be congruent to angle 8. And angle 2 would be congruent to angle 7. All right? So 1 and 8 are alternate exteriors. 2 and 7 are alternate exteriors. Those are also congruent. And then finally, we have our corresponding angles theorem. And that says if a transversal intersects two parallel lines, then our corresponding angles are congruent. And remember, with our corresponding angles, we have to group these into two sets of 4. And they have the same position. Top left is angle 1, top left down here is angle 5. So angle 1 would be congruent to angle 5. Top right, angle 2, top right, angle 6. So angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Bottom left, angle 3, bottom left, angle 7. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. And then bottom right is angle 4, bottom right is angle 8. So angle 4 would be congruent to angle 8. Now remember, all of these theorems, this is only true, all right, if we have parallel lines, all right, which we do. And remember, all of our sets, like alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and corresponding angles, those are all pairs that are congruent. The same side interior and same side exterior Those are supplementary. They add up to 180. All right, so don't make that mistake. All right, so let's look quickly at just a few problems. All right, and I'm going to draw another picture here, and I'm going to draw it a little bit differently. Okay, so here's a line, there's a parallel line, and we'll call this F and G. All right, and then here's my transversal, and we'll call, we can call that transversal T. All right, and then they label the angles again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the first question says, identify 4 pairs of congruent angles. Well, I know that alternate interior angles are congruent, so I can say angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. I know alternate exterior angles are congruent, all right? So angle 1 would be congruent to angle 8. I know corresponding angles are congruent, so I could do like angle 2 and 6. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. All right, they want one more. So let's do another set of alternate interior, 2 and 7. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. All right, so there's 4 pairs. Now, let's say they want 2 pairs of supplementary angles. Well, I know that the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 5 must equal 180 degrees, because 2 and 5 are same side interior. Maybe let's list a pair of same side exterior. The measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 8 will also equal 180 degrees. I mean, you could name other pairs too. Like I said, 2 and 5, 4 and 7. The measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 7. That will equal 180 degrees. All right, so there's a few in there. All right, what happens if they say the measure of angle 1 is equal to 70 degrees? And they want, what is the measure of angle 8? All right? And maybe they say, what's the measure of angle 5? Well, let's look at angle 8. And actually, let's do the measure of angle 6. So the measure of angle 8, those are alternate exterior angles. Those must be congruent, so I know the measure of angle 8 is 70. Now they want to know the measure of angle 5. Well, I know that angle 1 and angle 5, those are corresponding angles. Those also must be congruent. Measure of angle 6, oh, those are same side exterior angles. Remember, all of the same side angles, whether it's same side interior or same side exterior, those are supplementary. So if angle 1 is 70, then angle 6 must be 110 because they have to add up to 180. All right, so that's basically what they say for this entire section. Make sure you do the homework, which is listed on your bulletin board, and hopefully everybody's staying safe and healthy. Have a great night.